Welcome to Ask Mr. Don. Let me start with something most men won't say out loud. A lot of men are falling short at home, not because they don't care, but because they were never actually taught what leadership looks like. Beyond providing and protecting, they work long hours, they pay the bills, they carry the weight of responsibility. They make sure their family is provided for and protected. And still, something feels off. That's because providing and protecting, while essential, were never meant to carry the full weight of leadership in a home. Providing and protecting make you necessary. The other 60 to 70% of leadership is what makes you trusted, followed, and felt. Providing and protecting are foundational, yes, but they're incomplete on their own. A family doesn't just need a man who earns and guards. They need a man who's steady, clear, emotionally grounded, and consistent when life applies pressure, because pressure always comes. Real leadership in the home requires more than effort. It requires emotional strength, it requires standards, it requires relational awareness, it requires financial discipline, and it requires the ability to stay centered when things don't go your way, when you're tired, misunderstood, or carrying more than anyone sees. That's the part most men were never shown. So today, I want to give you a simple framework, not theory, not motivation, but a practical structure for men who want to lead with strength, wisdom, and intention. I call it leaders, not as a label, but as a way of living. I use acronyms because it's my way of easily sharing information. So here it is. L, lead yourself first. E, establish standards. A, align your actions with your values. D, develop emotional strength and protect. E, equip and provide for your family. R, resolve conflict with wisdom. S, stand consistent under pressure. Before we go any further, let me ground this. I'm not offering theory. I've been married for over 2 decades and had 4 children. I've learned, often through mistakes, that leadership in the home is demanding. There are seasons where doing the right thing makes you unpopular, moments where leadership feels lonely, and decisions where you have to stand firm without affirmation. Leadership isn't about being liked, it's about being dependable. It's about being steady when others can't be. And everything we're about to walk through begins at the same place, the part most men try to skip. Because before you can lead a family well, you have to be willing to lead yourself. And that's where we'll begin. Lead yourself first. If we're going to talk about leadership in the home, we have to start with the toughest part, leading yourself. Because here's the truth. You can't lead a family well if you're not leading your own habits, emotions, decisions, and focus. When a man isn't centered, the whole home feels it. When a man is grounded, the home stabilizes around him. For me, self-leadership begins with following God, not in a dramatic way, but in a steady, daily way that shapes my internal world. It builds calm, clarity, and resilience. And your family is able to experience that before you even say a word. Your spouse notices it first. She feels the difference between a man led by ego and a man led by conviction. A man who's spiritually aligned becomes predictable in the best way, steady, anchored, and present. Self-leadership is managing your tone, being aware of your reactions, staying disciplined, protecting your time and attention, being honest with yourself, and staying open to growth. It even shows up in your finances, because when you lead yourself well, you handle money with intention, not emotion. The next part of leadership becomes much easier, because leadership isn't only about who you are, it's also about what you expect from the environment around you. Establish standards. When you're leading yourself well, the next natural step is shaping the world around you, and that happens through standards. Expectations are what you want people to do. Standards are what you consistently demonstrate. A home without standards becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability creates stress for your spouse, for your kids, and for yourself. But when standards are clear, the home becomes predictable in the best way, stable, structured, and safe. Standards provide a guide for your home. They define how we speak, how we treat each other, how we handle responsibilities, how we protect peace, and how we show respect. Kids don't follow what you say, they follow how you live. In some cases, they don't listen or follow, but that's a story for another day. In marriage, shared standards strengthen connection. They remove guessing and create unity. Financial standards matter too. Structure reduces tension. Lack of structure amplifies it. Once standards are in place, the next piece becomes critical. Living out the values you say you believe in. Align your actions with your values. Standards set the frame. Alignment fills it with integrity. Your family doesn't follow the values you claim. They follow the values you display. If you say faith matters, but you never engage it. If you say family matters, but they only get your leftovers. If you say discipline matters, but you avoid discomfort. Your actions reveal the real values. Aligning your actions with your values builds trust, credibility, clarity, respect, and influence. When your actions match your values, the home feels grounded. When they don't, everything feels slightly off. And alignment sets the stage for what comes next. Because the moment you choose to live by your values, you'll face emotional pressure. And that's where the next behavior becomes essential. Develop emotional strength and protect. Living in alignment brings you into situations that test your emotional strength. And here's where many men misunderstand protection. It's not just physical readiness. The family feels emotional threats far more often than physical ones. Emotional strength looks like staying calm under pressure, managing tone, staying present instead of shutting down, taking responsibility without defensiveness, and keeping stress from leaking into the home. Your spouse needs emotional steadiness, not unpredictability. Your children need emotional safety, not volatility. When you develop emotional strength, you protect your home at its core. You protect a connection, you protect trust, and you protect the atmosphere. And emotional strength naturally leads to the next part. Once you're steady inside, you're able to think beyond the moment and invest in the long-term growth of your family. Equip and provide for your family. Emotional strength positions you to do more than react. It positions you to build. Providing is absolutely essential. However, real leadership goes further. You equip your family to thrive. Provision is responsible financial management, planning ahead, and reducing unnecessary stress. Equipping is developing resilience, teaching emotional intelligence, modeling discipline, creating opportunity, and preparing children for adulthood. Provision sustains the home. Equipping strengthens it, and legacy requires both. And as you equip your family, one reality becomes unavoidable. Conflict will arise. That leads us to one of the most important skills a man must develop. Resolve conflicts with wisdom. Where there are people, there will be conflict. It's not the conflict that harms families, it's how the conflict is handled. Most men default to fighting, fleeing, or freezing. But leadership offers a fourth option: resolve. Resolving conflict with wisdom means staying emotionally available, listening before reacting, addressing the real issue, not just the emotion, taking responsibility, and choosing connection over victory. Your spouse doesn't need perfection. She needs presence. Your kids don't need dominance. They need guidance. When you resolve conflict well, the family heals faster, trusts deeper, and stays more connected. And resolving conflict prepares you for the final piece, the behavior that holds the entire framework together. Stand consistent under pressure. Consistency is what makes all the previous steps stick. Pressure reveals who we are, not the pressure-free days, the long days, the tired days, the misunderstood days, the financially heavy days, the emotionally draining days. Consistency means you remain steady, your values don't change, your tone doesn't shift, your presence stays reliable, and your character stays intact. When all 7 behaviors come together, your home feels different, more stable, more connected, more grounded, and you become the kind of man who leads naturally, not through force, but through presence. Which brings us to your activation. Here's where leadership turns into growth. Choose one letter from leader, just one, and focus on it intentionally for the next 7 days. Don't try to master all 7 at once. Mastery grows through focused repetition. Leadership isn't built in a moment, it's built daily. This is Ask Mr. Don. Let's keep building. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it.